Dear students, we will discuss something about market with asymmetric information. Asymmetric information, also known as information failure, occurs when one party to an economic transaction possesses greater material knowledge than the other party. This typically manifests when the seller of a good or service possesses greater knowledge than the buyer. However, the reverse dynamic is also possible. Almost all economic transactions involve information asymmetries. Asymmetries refers to information gap. Some people possess more information, but some people possess less information. Three economists were particularly influential in developing and writing about the theory of asymmetric information: George Akerlof, Michael Spence, and Joseph Stiglitz. All three shared Nobel Prize in Economics in 2001 for their earlier contributions. Akerlof first argued about information asymmetry in a 1970 paper entitled The Market for Lemons: Quality Uncertainty and the Market Mechanism. Therein, Akerlof stated that car buyers see different information than sellers, giving sellers an incentive to sell goods of less than average market quality. Asymmetric information and adverse selection. George Akerlof was awarded the Nobel Prize in Economics 2001 for his 1970 paper, The Market for Lemons. This groundbreaking work used the second-hand car market to investigate this problem of asymmetric information between buyers and sellers. Akerlof noted it, noted it could lead to adverse selection, with the price of second-hand cars being below the equilibrium because there is an incentive to sell lemons, that is, dead cars, and therefore people hold back the peaches, good cars. People hold back selling good cars because equilibrium price is lower than real value of their good car. Overcoming asymmetric information. How we can overcome asymmetric information? First one is warranties and guarantees on used cars. Second one is log service records. Third one is rigorous testing of all used cars. Fourth one is consumer reviews of second hand car dealerships. And next one is register of trusted dealers agreeing to higher standard. So this is about various measures can be taken to overcome asymmetric information. Now, in this context, we will discuss something about a concept in this theory of asymmetric information, that is the principal agent problem. Asymmetric information is also associated with the principal agent problem. In an increasingly complex world, individual decision making often relies on advice given by experts and a potential principal agent problem can occur whenever decision makers rely on advice from others with more knowledge than they have. For example, the shareholders of firms, the principals, usually delegate responsibility for day to day decisions making to appointed managers, the agents. This creates a situation of asymmetry knowledge, with managers knowing much more than shareholders, and raises the possibility of inefficiencies, especially when shareholders and managers have different objectives. Example of these inefficiency include situations when managers decide to take the easy life, knowing that shareholders will not find out, and managers deciding to cheat and not reveal information to shareholders. This may occur in situation involving insider dealing, where managers can exploit their knowledge of a business prospects to buy or sell shares and make a personal gain. Here objectives will be different. Shareholders objective will be different, managers objectives will be different. Now we will discuss something about another concept, that is quality uncertainty and the market for lemons. The lemons problem was put forward in a research paper, The Market for Lemons, Quality Uncertainty and the Market Mechanism, written in the late 1960s by George Ackloff. The lemons problems exist in the marketplace for both consumer and business products, and also in the arena of investing related to the disparity in the perceived value of an investment between buyers and sellers. Now, causes and consequences of lemon problem. What are the causes of lemon problem? What are the consequences of lemon's problem? Let us have a glance. The problem of asymmetric information arises because buyers and sellers don't have equal amounts of information required to make an informed decision regarding a transaction. The seller or holder of a product or service usually knows its true value, or at least knows whether it is above or below average in quality. Potential buyers, however, typically do not have this knowledge, since they are not privy to all the information the sellers has. Sellers possess more information, true value of the car, whereas buyers, they possess less information. So this is known as asymmetric information. Ackloff proposed strong warranties as one of the means of overcoming the lemons problem, as they can protect a buyer from any negative consequences of buying a lemon. The expansion of readily available widespread information disseminated through the internet has also helped to reduce the problem. So, by offering warranty and by browsing information in website, we can somehow we can tackle this problem. Now, we will discuss something about another concept, that is signaling to convey private information, especially to overcome asymmetric information in the market. I mean, signaling to convey private information is a very important component. An important mechanism through which sellers and buyers deal with the problem of asymmetric information is market signaling. In some markets, sellers send buyers signals that convey information about the quality of the product. The term was first coined by Nobel laureate economist Michael Spence in 1974. In the markets for used cars, the owners know the quality, but the purchasers have to guess the quality. No 100% information. This asymmetric information can cause problems in the market for used cars. In some cases, adverse selection problem could result in too few transactions taking place. But this is not the whole truth. In this case, signaling helps to improve the performance of the market by offering warranty. The signal, the sellers of good cars can distinguish themselves from sellers of bad used cars. But in the some situations, signaling can, instead of improving the performance of the market, make things worse. In the labor market, workers know much more about the quality of the labor than the firm. It is not possible for the firm to know the productive potential of employers before hiring them. High productivity people demand higher wages by giving a signal which low productivity people cannot give. Education may be useful signal of high productivity of a group of workers. Now, screening to induce information revelation. This is another concept. When an informed party takes actions to reveal his private information, the phenomenon is called signaling, that is, market signaling. When an uninformed party takes action to induce the informed party to reveal private information, the phenomenon is called as screening. Some screening is common sense. I mean, by common sense, we can know about the quality of the product. A person buying his used car may ask that is uh, that it be checked by an auto mechanic before the sale. A seller who refuses this request reveals his private information that the car is a lemon. The buyer may decide to offer a lower price or to look for another car. Now, let us discuss something about another concept, that is the principal agent problem. The principal agent problem occurs when a principal delegates an action to another individual, that is agent, but the principal does not have full information about how the agent will behave. Secondly, the interest of the principal diverge from that of the agent, meaning that the outcome is less desirable than the principal expects. The principal agent problem can lead to market failure because agent pursues his own self interest rather than that of principal, and the business may be run in an inefficient way. In extreme cases, the mutually beneficial action may not happen because principal lacks information. Here, principal he lacks information, but agent possesses more information. The principal agent problem can also lead to an individual taking an excessive risk because the ultimate cost is borne by someone else. This is an example of moral hazard. Now, let us discuss something about costs of principal agent problem. See, what are the limitations of or costs of principal agent problems? First one is agency costs. Due to information asymmetries, principals may be unaware of how much a contract has been fulfilled. Principals may be reluctant to enter into a contract at all for the fear that they will not know what is going on. Inefficiency. Principal agent problem enables agents to produce suboptimal work. For example, managers may be profit satisfiers leading to higher costs and less profit. Cost of monitoring and incentives. To try and overcome the principal agent problem, the principal will have to spend money on monitoring and providing incentives for workers. Now, let us discuss something about efficiency wage theory. The efficiency wage theory holds that the average quality of the firm's labor forces depends on the wage it pays to the workers. If a firm reduces its wages, it will lose its most efficient workers. So, Gresham's law will operate. Bad workers drive good workers out, and the firm will be left with only inferior workers who do not have much alternative employment opportunities. Now, efficiency wage is a theory in attempt to explain the persistence of unemployment or excess supply of labor in the economy. In general, efficiency wages are a response to asymmetric information about employees, combating both moral hazard and adverse selection. The idea of efficiency wage theory is that increasing wages can lead to increased labor productivity because workers feel more motivated to work with higher pay. Therefore, if firms increase wages, some or all the higher wage costs will be recouped through increased staff retention and higher labor productivity. This can be explained with the help of following diagram. Reasons for wage efficiency wage theory: fear of losing jobs, that is shirking model. The argument is that if workers are paid a higher wage, they have more to lose from being made redundant. Therefore, if they have a job with a wage significantly higher than benefits or alternative jobs, they will have greater motivation to impress their boss and keep it. Second one is loyalty. Loyalty: if workers receive a higher pay, they may just feel more loyalty towards the company and be willing to work harder and with more determination. Third one is labor market gift exchange. G. Aploff saw the labor market as a gift exchange where good labor relations depended on goodwill. If company people they have goodwill about workers, then naturally give and take will be there. Lower costs of supervision. JB Ribzer noted that lower wages were associated with higher levels of supervision, attract higher quality labor. If a firm pay above the market clearing level, it will attract a better quality worker who will feel they can get a relatively better paid job. And next one is nutritional theories. In developing economies, at very low rates of pay, increasing wages can enable a reduction in absolute poverty. Better health and nutrition lead to better quality of labor. Now, let us discuss something about another concept related to this theory of asymmetric information, that is moral hazards and hidden characteristics. Moral hazards is a situation in which one party gets involved in a risky event knowing that it is protected against the risk and other party will incur the cost. It arises when both parties have incomplete information about each other. Example, you have not insured your house from any future damages. It implies that a loss will be completely borne by you at the time of mishappening like fire or burglary. Hence, you will show extra care and attentiveness. You will install high-tech alarms and hire watchmen to avoid any unforeseen event. But if your house is insured for its full value, then if anything happens, you do not really lose anything. Therefore, you have less incentive to protect against mishappening. In this case, the insurance firm bears the losses and the problem of moral hazard arises. The problem of adverse selection. Adverse selection occurs when there is asymmetric information between a buyer and seller prior to a deal. That means one of the two parties has more accurate or different information than the other party before they reach an agreement. This puts the less knowledgeable party at a disadvantage because it is more difficult for them to assess the value or risk of the deal. Meanwhile, the more knowledgeable party has access to all the relevant information and can more easily evaluate quality of the agreement. This ultimately leads to an inefficient outcome and a lower quality of goods and services in the market. So, finally, we will discuss about another concept, that is winner's curse. The winner's curse is a tendency for the winning bid in an auction to exceed the intrinsic value or true worth of an item. The gap in auction versus intrinsic value can typically be attributed to incomplete information, bidders' emotions, or a variety of other subjective factors that can influence bidders. In general, Subjective factors usually create a value gap because the bidder faces a difficult time determining and rationalizing an item's true intrinsic value. As a result, the largest overestimation of an item's value ends up winning the auction. As most investors know, intrinsic value is usually quantifiable, but situations and subjective factors make value estimates more unclear in real time and real life. Theoretically, if perfect information was available to everyone and all participants were completely rational in their decisions and skilled at valuation, a fully efficient market would exist and no overpayments or arbitrage opportunities would ever occur. However, while efficient markets are helpful to understand in theory, historically they have proved to be unachievable 100% of the time. Thus, emotions, irrationalities, rumors, and other subjective factors can push prices far beyond their true values. So, this is about winner's curse. Thank you for listening.